Hey, what's going on, guys? Crass Businessman here. Today I want to talk about why motivation is garbage, but why it feels so good. So I just came across an article this morning by a gentleman named Chuck Kirsten. He wrote an article on LinkedIn about the difference between motivation and discipline and why discipline is far superior. So I have a few points I'd like to make. So starting off, the certain things have always been difficult for me. So I always like to refer to this as the bachelor life cycle. Right? So my laundry ends up in the bachelor life cycle. Bachelor life cycle is so after clothes get dirty, right? They go from the floor to the hamper to the washing machine to the dryer, dryer to a basket, basket to the bed, and then we tell ourselves, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna put it away." Never happens. We throw them onto the floor. They get trampled on for the next week and a half, and then we put them all back into the laundry, and it just keeps going back in a cycle over and over again. And so as funny as this is, it still raises some questions about, why does a grown man do this shit? Is he just that much of a lazy sack of crap? Arguably so, maybe, but I think that it's really more that I don't get enthusiastic about it, as well. Most people don't really get enthusiastic about it, but I'm so ardently against doing it properly. I guess I've just put it in my mind that I am not excited about this. I am not. I've also put it in my mind that it's not a necessity in relative terms, because it's like I'll eventually wash the clothes. It's not a big deal, Eventually, I will wash them. If I need something that's that's on the floor that's clean, I'll pick it up. I'll use my my little swash system thing. It's like a portable dry cleaner type thing, or I'll pick it up. I'll dust it off. I'll iron it, and there's no real consequence to it. So it doesn't really seem like it's incredibly important at the time. But he brought up a few different points that I'd like to go over just now. Unfortunately, my teleprompter app is not working for some reason, so I'm going to have to look at my other device here to look at my points. But so basically, motivation is operating under the assumption that you have to be in a particular mental or emotional state to complete a task. And by contrast, discipline is operating in spite of mood, feeling, or emotional state to complete a task. So a lot of the time, people will get caught up in what's called the procrastination loop, right? Where you say, okay, I'll do it later, which eventually leads to you at some point feeling like, ah, man, I'm being so unproductive. Which leads to you saying, okay, maybe I should get up and stop being unproductive. Which leads to, okay, I'm not in the right mood, so I'll do it later. So, and then you just keep doing that over and over and over again, and it's called the procrastination loop. Now, there are some things in this world that, some people just fundamentally can't be enthusiastic about. Without going into too much of a tangent, I'm going to explain why, or at least a potential reason why that is. So you generally don't get to choose your beliefs, okay? And you're either convinced of something or you're not convinced of something. So, for example, when you're looking at my sweater, right, you can say, you can do all the mental gymnastics that you want, but it's gray. Granted, this is probably not the best example because there are some, portions of kind of a lighter tan color in it, but, for the sake of this argument, it's gray, right? No matter how many mental gymnastics you do, you can't convince yourself that this is purple, so you're convinced that it is, regardless. And when it comes down to it, motivation just doesn't really work in the long run. Okay, so it takes like an insurmountable amount of energy. It's fleeting, it's unreliable, and let's just face it, it's fucking hard. It's hard to just get motivated about stuff that you really don't want to get motivated by, or that you're really not motivated about. And so to clarify, I'm talking about short-term tasks and not long-term goals, because long-term goals can usually be pretty easily motivating. Like, oh man, I can't wait till the end of this, or I can't wait till, I can, finally look forward to this. But I discovered a book that has an ideology that works really well at completing these tasks, and the author herself would actually admit that it's kind of silly. And the book I'm referring to is The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. And the brief explanation is that your brain works so quickly to talk you out of shit. And if you do a countdown, like similarly to like a rocket ship taking off, or you're about to do a huge cliff jump and you're talking yourself into it, you just count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then physically move, and it'll have interrupted your brain's processes, and you're significantly more likely to do it. Naturally, I have never not done something that I've used the 5-second rule for. So it's pretty powerful. It's pretty good stuff. And the other thing is that it's not going to make it easy. It's going to make it happen. And this is actually a direct quote from Mel Robbins. Great lady. Awesome. And that's pretty much about it I wanted to cover for this video, guys. Highly recommend checking out the article on LinkedIn as well as Mel Robbins, the 5-second rule. Buy the shit. Definitely worth it. She's got a lot of different podcasts and stuff going on, so she's definitely an advocate for saying that motivation is garbage, because it just doesn't work in the long run. You know, we try to convince ourselves of things, and it goes counter to how you actually operate. You know, discipline is a whole lot better foundation, you know, building habits and things of that nature to help you complete tasks instead of, you know, oh man, I'm really, really not looking forward to doing this. Let me try to convince myself that I'm going to look forward to it. How would that ever work? You know? So yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for listening. Sorry I went off into some tangents. I was looking down a whole lot. Like I said, the teleprompter app is not working correctly. And I had like 2 donuts because I'm a fat sack of shit. And so I think I'm speaking faster than I normally would because there's just so much sugar and it hasn't been balanced out by the water. But a bunch of details you guys didn't need to know. Anyways, have a great day.